I'm Alison and I care for my mum Dorothy, and my mum is now 85. She has schizophrenia and has had it all her life, well certainly since I was born, or just before, and sometimes it's been, she's had what we call episodes where she's needed quite a lot of help and support. And as time goes on, there are different phases and different kinds of support that my mum needs. And certainly for the past 15 years, I've been quite involved in the support that I've been able to provide for my mum. And it's changed dramatically really, because way back, talking about years ago now, there used to be quite a bit of stigma attached to people with mental illness, and they used to basically lock them away. And at that time, I had periods where my mum would be in, say, Stanley Royd or Menston or wherever it was, for quite extended periods, and I would be with friends or family and staying with them. But I also found that within my area, within my community, there was only some children that I could play with and some children that I could see, because her mum's a nutter, her mum's, don't go with her mum's crazy, and they kind of think that it's like contagious. She was in the Mount about 3.5 years ago, and she was in for 5 months. And then the next thing I knew, she was being discharged. And I remember that period, there was about 2 weeks afterwards, after she'd been discharged from the Mount, and it was just chaos. There was a lack of sort of support there in that interim period, and I would have felt better if she'd have had more time where she'd have had periods at home, maybe just overnight or a couple of nights or something, and then back with some support, and slowly worked it rather than just being left there at that point. I think there's a massive gap in communications, number one. I think that they should be communicating more with my mother, and also when they're communicating with my mum, they should hopefully communicate with me too. There's situations where, like when I went to the receptionist, actually twice recently, at St Mary's about my mum's situation, and you're explaining what's happening, you're explaining about the psychosis, and you're explaining that she's got paranoia, and you're talking about the fact that she's very agitated and distressed. They think that you're kind of over embellishing it and that it's over emotional, and they don't seem to see the fact that you were talking and literally describing what is happening for that person as best you can. I mean, obviously you're not inside her, but you know what the outward signs are. And when you've known somebody all your life and it's your loved one, you can tune into that, I think, in ways that others can't, and you can explain what that dimension is. And I don't think they're seeing that as being what's actually there. They see it as some kind of image around it and some kind of story, rather than what's actually physically happening. And it can be really frustrating as a carer when